Well, think about how you learn music. Maybe you took lessons, practiced scales, learned a circle of fifths. But what if I told you the most prolific composer on the planet right now isn't human, and it never cracked a textbook? It learned music theory the same way a food delivery driver learns a city. Not from a map, but from millions of trips, millions of turns. So today we're talking about how AI learns the rules of music. Not to obey them, but to speak the language fluently. And what that means for the future of art. So let's get one thing straight from the start. An AI doesn't learn music theory the way a student at Juilliard School does. There is no teacher, no homework for him, no aha moment with a chord progression that resolves to the tonic. The process is both more fundamental and more alien. Well, step one is simple. Data. Insane amount of data. We feed the AI a colossal library. Think millions of MIDI files, sheet music scans, and audio waveforms. Every Beatles song, every Beethoven symphony, every Billboard chart topper, every obscure folk tune from a digital archive. This isn't a curated lesson plan. It's the entire messy history of human music dumped into a digital brain. Step two is where the learning happens, the actual learning, pattern recognition. Simple as that. Well, not that simple. The AI's core job is to play a game of statistical prediction. It looks at the sequence of notes, say C, E, G, and asks, based on everything I've seen, what note is most likely to come next? Well, it's calculating probabilities, not feeling resolution. A human hears a dominant seventh chord and feels the tangent pulling towards the tonic. An AI sees that in 87% of the musical example it was trained on, the data, this particular cluster of notes is followed by an F major chord, which is the tonic chord here. It doesn't know why. It just knows that statistical likelihoods are this. This is the critical point. The AI isn't learning abstract rules called music theory. It's discovering the ghostly imprint of those rules, which is left behind the data. It learns that certain note combination that we call them intervals appear more often. It learns that chord progressions like IV, VIIV, 1, 5, 6, 4 are a common pattern. Not because it knows Roman numerals from the books, but because the sequence of chord sounds appear with a startling frequency in lots of pop music. It learns about song structure like verses, after chorus comes and then bridge and back to verse because it statistically detects repeating sections. It's like learning a language by just reading every novel ever written without dictionary. You'd start to intuit grammar from sheer repetition. You'd start which word tends to follow others, even if you couldn't name the grammatical rule. So, does the AI truly understand music theory? That's a billion-dollar question. I'd argue it understands the syntax perfectly, the grammar of notes, chords, and form, but the semantics, which is the meaning, the motion, the cultural context, the human reason why a minor chord sounds sad, that is absent. It has mastered the how, but not the why. This that we're talking about leads to two fascinating outcomes. First, AIs can now generate music that is perfectly coherent with theoretical standards. It will rarely make a mistake, but second, and more importantly, it can also break rules in hyper-informed ways. It could generate a piece that statistically mirrors the style of Bach, but then takes a left turn that Bach never did because it's mixing his patterns with fragments of jazz and electronic music that it's also absorbed through data. Ultimately, AI learns music theory as a vast multi-dimensional map of what has come before. It's a mirror held up to our entire musical heritage. And what we see in the mirror isn't a new rule book, but a reflection of our own collective creativity, which is quantified in front of us. The question for us as musicians and listeners is no longer, can AI learn theory? It's now that it has, what do we want to say with it? What do you think about this? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate a lot. Thank you.